Hola guys, welcome to my channel, and in this video I'd be ranting about upgrading our laptop's storage device. Now, we may all have different reasons in why we'd have to upgrade that. Some of us may simply run out of storage simply because the capacity is too small, or maybe your laptop still has those hard disk drive installed into it. If that's the case, please, your priority should be upgrade your hard disk drive into a solid state drive. Doing that will actually improve your power efficiency, your laptop's power efficiency. Well, what I mean is, with a hard disk drive, your battery may last 2 hours while you're working on it, browsing the internet, productivity work, whatever. With a hard disk, it may last 2 hours, but if you upgrade that to an SSD, it may last 2 hours and 10 minutes. I'm sorry, I'm not really sure with the numbers, but uh, I can't use my laptop as reference. It's a gaming laptop, an old one at that, so the battery's not doesn't really last that long. But in general, SSDs are much more power efficient. But putting that aside, SSD's performance, or rather the performance uplift from hard disk to solid state drives is very noticeable, guys. Bottom line here is you really should prioritize your storage upgrade if you're coming from a hard disk drive. All right, so I'll be making a separate video in regards to choosing the right laptop, like in regards to upgrade options, price to performance ratio, things to consider, stuff like that. I'll be making a separate video for that one. This video is actually just for those people who already have or already know what storage device is compatible for their laptops. All right. I'll try to keep this video as short as possible. One thing to note, just in case you still don't and just decided on, play it by ear, which is really not a good idea. You know what? I'll use my laptop as a reference. Asus. With Asus, make sure you're in the right region as well. Not just the website. Like for example, I'm from the Philippines. Here it is, asus.com/ph. Just make sure you're in the right region as well, because laptops from region to region may vary in small ways that really matter. And perform a search. Here's what I mean. The laptop I'm using right now I currently have is Strix GL702 VM. And if I open this real quick and go to the English version, version E11310, if I download that, it forwards me to a wrong manual, actually. That's how old my laptop is. So GL702 VT, Victor Tango, it shows here. The laptop I have is a Victor Mike Kilo VMK. And if you guys notice here, let me skip right through. Here you go. So here on the left is the manual with the GL702 VT, Victor Tango. And this is the laptop I have. It's a VM laptop. And here in the manual, it shows I have two slots for M.2 and a hard disk drive here at the bottom right. I have the hard disk drive here on the bottom right as well. So that's good. Here in the manual, it says the slot 1 supports SATA SSD only, while slot 2 supports both NVMe and SATA SSD. Here in my laptop, if you guys could notice, I only have one slot. Let me make this bigger a bit. There you go. Here in my laptop, hard disk drives here. The slot 2 for the M.2 is not here. I only have the aluminum heat spreader here. I'm not really sure what's underneath that. One thing's for sure, there's no M.2 slot underneath this aluminum heat spreader. What I do have is just one M.2 slot. Again, here in the manual, it did say slot 1 only supports SATA SSD. Good, good thing with my motherboard is it does support both SATA and PCIe SSD. So I may have only one M.2 slot, but at the very least, it supports both SATA and PCIe SSD. So anyway, that said, just make sure the storage device you'd be buying is compatible with your laptop. Best way to know for certain is to open your laptop up. Well, you will be opening your laptop up anyway, right? So might as well open it beforehand before actually buying the storage device. You know what I mean? So open it up, make sure it's compatible, and yeah, because like for example, if the laptop you bought only has an SSD installed into it, but if you once you open your computer up, yeah, you may have a slot for a hard disk drive, but you may not have the enclosure for the disk drive and the SATA port. You may have to buy them separately, stuff like that. So again, open your laptop up first, make sure it's compatible, make sure all the ports and like for example, you'd be buying a SATA SSD 2.5-inch drive. Make sure it has the enclosure and the SATA ports as well. And yeah. Oh, and by the way, originally what I had installed in here was a 128 SATA SSD and paired with a 1 terabyte HDD hard disk drive. With the 128 gigabyte, the capacity is really small, so basically it only contained Windows and some other important applications. Most of my other applications are installed into my hard disk drive, right? And that said, my hard disk is actually causing quite a bottleneck for my system. It can actually perform better only if the applications are installed in a solid state drive, something like that. Again, the numbers, I'd be showing them to you later on. And this is what I replaced it with. So I replaced it with an NV1 from Kingston, 500 gigabyte capacity, and it's a PCIe NVMe.M.2, PCIe Gen 3, okay? So if your motherboard supports Gen 4, well, you could buy one, but me personally, my board only supports Gen 3, and I only bought the entry level NVMe from Kingston, which is the NV1. 500 gigabyte is enough for my needs, and I was able to, or right now, I'm able to install all of the applications that I'm using into this one with a lot of room to spare. So if you need a larger capacity one, feel free to buy that. And yeah, that's for the M.2. Now, if your laptop doesn't support M.2 slots, all you have is a 2.5 drive bay, and you only have a hard disk drive installed into it. What you can do is remove this HDD, replace it with a SSD. Um, how much is an SSD right now? Let's 500 gigabyte SSD. SATA SSD. There you go. Let's find one from here. It's a Lasmall. So I'm from the Philippines. I'm using Lazada. If you're from another country, use Amazon or eBay, whatever. Crucial MX500. Let's choose 500 gigabytes. It's 4,200 pesos. Buy this one, install this into your laptop. Now, your current HDD, for your current HDD, you could install it into one of these enclosures, 2.5 enclosure. There you go. Enclosure, let's look for a transparent one. Here. I just use this one because it's transparent. You could remove your HDD here, remove this one, replace it with an SSD. So remove this one, put it in an enclosure, in one of these kind of enclosures. This way you'd have an external storage device, and you could use it to store your your pictures, videos, whatever. And at least now you have an SSD for your Windows, and your computer will be performing a lot faster, guys. And yeah, now, just a few things before you actually change or replace your storage device. Number one, your Windows key. You'd actually need your key, the Windows key, for you to be able to activate the new Windows that you'd be reinstalling, or the Windows that you'd be reinstalling, right? So most of the time, the sticker's stuck right underneath your laptop, but it's common practice here in the Philippines as well to not have that sticker stuck there. But you can still pull that Windows key up. All right, I'll be putting this link in the description field below if you guys need it. So how to pull up your Windows key, just follow the instructions here, the command here. Copy it and paste it into your command prompt. So copy this one here, open your command prompt, CMD, run as administrator. Yes, and paste it there and hit enter. It'll show you the Windows key. Right now, mine's not being displayed because I'm in Windows 11. It's currently configured online with my Microsoft account, so it's not being shown here. Idea here is once I log into Windows, my Microsoft account, it'll activate Windows for me. But if you're Windows 10, you should be able to get the number displayed right here at the bottom, so somewhere there. If it's not being displayed, you really need to get hold of that Windows key. Otherwise, you'd have a hard time activating your Windows after you install it. If you're not able to pull it up, I suggest for you to contact Microsoft support team, have a chat with them, ask for them how to get your Windows key. Just tell them what your situation is. Like you'd be replacing your storage device. You're using a laptop, replacing your storage device. You'd have to reinstall Windows, and you need that key to have it activated, something like that, and they'd be able to help you out. Microsoft, when I say Microsoft, web, go to their website, Microsoft.com, go to support and contact contact us and open and get help app or get support in the browser instead, something like that. Have a chat with them, ask for them how you'd be able to activate Windows after installing your Windows OS. All right, now you have actually two options. You could either check your laptop if it's compatible for Windows 11 or just install Windows 10 if you're happy with that. To check, again, this link will be in the description field below. To check if your computer is compatible for Windows 11, learn about Windows 11 here, and Windows OS, learn about, compare Windows 11, uh, Windows 11 specs and requirements. There you go. Continue to the Windows website and system requirements. Download this application here, PC Health Check app, run that thing, and if it tells you it's compatible, go ahead and download it. If it's not, you're stuck with Windows 10 for that particular laptop. All right, again, these links will be in the description field below. I'm trying to just save some time here. Here's the link for the installation media. You could download this link here, but before you begin, make sure you read these first. One thing in particular is having a that USB flash drive that has at least 8 gigabytes of capacity, and download it, and then save it into your, after downloading it, run the media, and it will install itself into your USB flash drive. Just make sure that the USB is connected to your laptop, all right? Or if that's not compatible, or if Windows 11 is not being supported by your laptop, you could use Windows 10 installer which is this one here. Again, link in the description field below. Download the tool. Again, make sure the USB is connected into your laptop and run this thing. Install it into your USB and run Windows setup. Now that you have a Windows Media Creation tool installed into your USB flash drive, few more things before you could actually reinstall Windows. Number one, make sure you know where to find your drivers for your laptop. Again, best site to look for that would be your laptop's website. So in my case, I have the ROG GL702 VM. I choose my specific model, the VMK. I go to Windows 10 64-bit. This is also applicable for Windows 11 version. And here it is. Why is this important? Laptops vary from one to the other, obviously. Now, running Windows will actually install drivers automatically. I mean, without installing these, you'd still be able to use your laptop fairly well, but not as efficiently. Like, for example, if your laptop has one of those keyboards with special keys, you won't be able to use those special keys in some instances. Like, for example, mine, I have the ROG key in my keyboard, and I won't be able to use that unless I install this thing here, this ATK. I think it stands for Asus T keyboard, something like that. So without me installing this one, I won't be able to use the full potential of my keyboard, something like that. So just make sure you know where to find the drivers for your laptop. All right. Once you know that, next thing is fast boot. Your laptop may have its fast boot option enabled. Uh, it'll be a good idea to have that disabled during installation of Windows, just so that you'd be able to avoid some unnecessary complications during installation. For that, our laptops vary. So it'll be a good idea for you to find out if your laptop supports fast boot. If it does, make sure you know how to disable them. I really suggest for you to disable them because sometimes it really does cause some complications. And after disabling that, that would be it. Reinstall Windows then. In installing Windows, you don't have to erase your current, let me go back to my picture here. What I did with my SSD, my old SSD is installed here, right? The 128 gigabyte. What I didn't erase it whatsoever. I just removed the whole thing, replaced the new one, and installed Windows here. In this case, if there's something wrong with this particular drive, all I have to do is simply remove this one, reinstall the old one, and I'm back to the original settings, something like that. So just be sure not to erase your drive initially until you have the new one up and running. All right. It's a good fallback. It's a good plan B, if you know what I mean. So just remove the old drive, replace the new one, install Windows there, make sure everything's up and running before you use that drive for another, purpose. Like for example, this one here, if you only have a 2.5-inch drive, just remove the old one, put it aside, install the new one. Once you have Windows up and running, you could use the old HDD hard disk drive, put it in an enclosure, use that as your external storage, erase it, do whatever you want with it, but do that after making sure your new drives 100% functional. All right. Oh, and by the way, sorry, really sorry. Number one, it's not because you change your storage device from a hard disk to a solid state drive. It'll perform miracles. It won't. It'll just make your system run a lot faster. But like for example, you have a gaming laptop. you're not able to run Tomb Raider 60 FPS, don't expect after upgrading to a solid state drive, you'd be able to hit 100 FPS, something like that. It doesn't work like that, all right? The best thing that you could experience with a solid state drive is better multitasking, launching multiple applications at the same time, and faster loading times. That's basically it, all right? So, uh, keep your expectations in check, something like that. All right, so here's the benchmark results. So here are the results. I won't be explaining what each of these lines are. For the sake of brevity, we'll just stick to the first line here, the sequential one, maybe by the test for all three tabs. In the first one, it's averaging a Oh, and by the way, link in the description field below for for the explanation for what these tests are and what they stand for and what the test is for. Anyway, as I've mentioned, let's just stick to the first line here. First one here, this one, the first one is for my hard disk drive. As I've mentioned, most of my applications are installed into the 1 TB hard disk drive. So I find this test very necessary. So it's averaging 130 megabytes read and write. And the default SATA SSD has 500 megabytes read, 140 write. And here's the new one, the NV1 from Kingston, NVMe PCIe M.2. It's 2400 read, 1800 for the write. And yeah, so here's the Kingston, or rather CrystalDiskmark results. All right, now here are some application benchmarks and applications I have in here is PCMark 10, Adobe Photoshop, and Premiere. The one for After Effects, the results for the hard disk drive SATA SSD combos inconclusive, so I didn't include it in there. But I do have the one for the NVMe, just for reference. And another emphasis, I want to emphasize on this one here, the rustic color one, rustic orange or whatever. Applications are installed in the hard disk drive, while Windows is installed into my old or the original SATA SSD, the stock one. Now I replaced this one with an NVMe from Kingston, NV1 from Kingston, a Gen 3 PCIe M.2. Okay. All right. So for PCMark 10, I have 436.7 opposed to 405.2 with a 7200 RPM and SATA SSD combo. And Adobe Photoshop, 525 overall score. I use Puget benchmarking plugin for Photoshop and Premiere and also After Effects here. It shows here 525 and 522 for the SATA SSD hard drive combo. Um, yeah, the score may not be that great, but believe me, if you're using Photoshop together with your Illustrator, uh, you'd notice a big difference, guys. And I don't think this score gives it that much justice. But anyway, there it is. And for Adobe Premiere, 250, 206 for the hard drive SATA combo. All right, to summarize. Now, again, before buying the replacement storage device, just open your laptop up first. Check your components out. I mean, check your laptop's motherboard. What actual component is compatible for that motherboard? And make sure you have the proper tools. One in particular is the prying tool. Make sure you have a plastic, this one here, a plastic prying tool. If you have a guitar pick, for some reason, don't use that. You'd only break that thing. Use a rigid prying tool, plastic one, so that you won't scratch your laptop. And make sure you have the proper tools. And If you're going to be referring to a manual, make sure the model, the specific model and version of your laptop or manual is, or rather, make sure that the manual is for your specific model slash variant of a laptop. All right. Like for example, mine's a Victor mic, but as I've shown you, the manual the website has for Victor Tango, it's for a different model of a laptop, similar but quite different. And yeah, so your best bet is to just open your laptop or the manual, the manual that came with your laptop. What's the manual that was inside the box as you bought as you bought the laptop? That's a good reference as well. But again, make sure it's that manual's pertaining to your specific model. Because sometimes some laptops hand out a general or a generic manual, a manual for all variants, like for example, in my case, we have here a GL702 base model, and they give out that manual for the base model. You know what I mean? So it's not really for your specific laptop. It's for the general, for the base model, something like that. So if that's the kind of manual you have, again, it'll be better for you to actually open your laptop up. All right. Okay, so that would be it for this video, and I hope you guys liked it, and I really hope I was able to help someone out as always. And I'd be making a separate video on how to choose a laptop. That's in regards to upgrade options, stuff like that. And anyway, feel free to leave your comments down below, like or dislike this video. It'll help me a lot. And yeah, as always, see you in the next one.